Restorers and policyholders are being prosecuted every single year for insurance fraud in the state of Florida under their statute 817.034. The state writes the law as a systematic and ongoing course of conduct with the intent to obtain property from one or more persons by false or fraudulent pretenses, representations, or promises. Now, I'm going to need you to remember those words because they're going to come in handy very soon. See, in 2022, the insurance companies in the state, they went to the government, they told them that they had a very big issue, that they were hemorrhaging money and a lot of it, about $438 million, dollars, and they were about to go broke. Why, you ask? Well, hurricanes and frivolous lawsuits and shady contractors defrauding them with those damn assignment of benefits, and just the list went on. So, in order to see what the hell was happening, the Office of Insurance Regulation ordered a forensic audit to be done on 53 different insurance carriers. They spent $150,000 for an outside firm to come in and give them this report. What did that study uncover? Well, pretty much the exact opposite of everything the carriers had claimed. The truth was that they had profited billions of dollars in that time and they paid out almost $700 million in dividends to their shareholders. They were just funneling that money through affiliate companies like the TPAs, which they also owned, so they could show their ledgers as dry. Now, I know what you're thinking. Perfect. Open and shut case, just another instance of insurance carriers lying because of their own greed, right? I mean, it's not like we expect any of them to go to jail for lying like that, but at the very least, we can put this issue to bed. Psych! What is this, your first day here, nerd? That is not what happened at all. That study never saw the light of day. Enter Florida Insurance Commissioner David Altmaier. David's a lot like Bugs Bunny in those old cartoons where he'd saw off Florida and just like let it float into the ocean, but a lot worse of a person. David buried that study, and it was done intentionally. He hid it from legislators because he went up and testified to them and said that everything the carrier was claiming was in fact true. Massive reform was needed. Now, I'm going to take a moment to speculate, but to anybody with eyeballs, it is clear that David was put in his position for one reason and one reason only, and that was to ram through a bill that would strip policyholders of every protection they once had against their insurance companies in Florida. That bill is called SB 2A. Law was going to do three things. It was going to allow carriers to put inside of policies what's called mandatory binding arbitrations, which means that if a homeowner experiences a bad faith practice, they can't just take him to court anymore. They have to go and sit in front of an arbitrator, often picked by the insurance companies, and the rule that he makes is final. No appeal, no jury. That's the end of it. No precedent either being set if they lose. The law eliminates assignment of benefits protections, preventing homeowners from assigning claims to restoration contractors or roofers who are knowledgeable in the industry and that could fight on the behalf of that policyholder. But the big one for especially restoration companies in the state is it became a right to repair state, meaning that if you don't go with the insurance company's contractor, they can deny your claim, even if you have a contract in place already with an independent restorer. That does not matter. They can still say, no, we're not covering this unless you go with our TPA vendor. That's insane. And because the Office of Insurance Regulation and their commissioner validated the insurance company's lies, this bill passed. The just absolute worst part of all this is that one day after the bill passed, David, our buddy David here, resigns and he doesn't give any explanation. But don't worry, I have that explanation for you because 3 days later, a ban was going to take effect in the state that would restrict government officials from taking positions within lobbying groups for 6 years after they left their position. That was not going to be good for David. So he left, and then 3 months later, he now sits on the board of a Bermuda based reinsurance company. And the Southern Group, one of the most notorious lobbying firms in the country, created a whole new division for him. Disgusting. And the result of this bill is even worse because when you actually look at what happened, we see that Florida homeowner insurers closed 46% of their claims with $0 paid out. That is a 17% increase from 2022. The same companies that claimed that they were hemorrhaging money and needed a bailout are now printing money while denying nearly half of all claims in the state of Florida. Systematic, ongoing conduct to obtain property from one or more persons by false or fraudulent pretenses. Those are not my words. Those are directly from the state of Florida. And once again, just a gentle reminder to any litigious persons named in this video that slander is only slander when it's Not true. Enjoy Bermuda, David. Millions of Floridians currently suffer so you can be there. Have a nice day.